Most people think you need a big budget, a big team, and a big brand to succeed. But what if that is exactly why so many people fail? Today, we're talking about something so many people struggle with: trying to grow, trying to stand out, and feeling like they're competing against people with more money, more resources, and more visibility. Because let's be honest, if I can feel like no matter how hard you try, you just are still getting overlooked, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. Now, I'm joined here today, I'm very excited, by Osnat Lidor, and she is a marketing strategist with over 25 years of experience helping companies grow. Even when they're the smaller player in the crowded space is there, she could help them grow. Now, today we're breaking down on how to compete, how to stand out, and actually get results without trying to do what everyone else is doing. Osnat, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you on the show. I think this is going to be an amazing episode because so many people go through with this. And
Thank you, Stacey. Yeah, I agree.
you're very welcome. Why do so many small businesses or individuals feel like they're stuck?
Well, today the game is about attention, right? We need attention to get more leads, to get more interest, to get calls. And when the game is attention, the ones that have the dollars, right? The ones that have the ability to buy the attention get it, right? And a lot of the rest are just sitting there making a little bit of effort, but in terms of budget, but really feel behind on the potential that they can have, especially today with the media. There are so many channels to get attention out there. And it's very frustrating for a lot of companies. So, when you're in a market, and most markets are very saturated, there are two plays. One is personal relationship, connection, network, and the other is just to be out there, visible, top of mind, and getting the attention.
Yes.
And many individuals and companies are just missing out on that ability, and that creates a lot of frustration.
Oh, it definitely does. Now, what are they doing wrong?
Well, one of the things that are the companies are doing is kind of, we call it a spray and pray. So you have a little bit of budget and you're just spraying it everywhere, and you're saying, okay, I'll put it on Facebook. I'll pay for articles. I'll pay for just putting a lot of content out there, but not really thinking about who is going to read this? What is my message? Am I really putting it in the right place at the right time to get people back to me, to the people that actually feel the pain? And that really creates a situation of a big spend with very little value. And then if you're thinking, oh, it doesn't work. Ads don't work. Cold calling don't work. And nothing works. And what am I going to do? So if we're just spraying and praying without any strategy behind it, without understanding really what to do, it's a waste. And businesses fall because they're not doing it at the right time and not really building the pipeline. And that is really the thing that usually needs to change to make a difference and to build a business.
So, the main reason why it's not working, you think, is because there is no strategy behind it. They're just doing it, basically.
Exactly. You're seeing a lot of ads and a lot of people talking about let's do Facebook ads. Everyone's on Facebook. Let's target, um, um, our audience is businesses in this and that region. And this will be a business and this is what we're going to target. But there are so many businesses like that. Most of the time, the stars are not aligned for them to buy right now.
Right.
So it just goes unnoticed, and they're not clicking. So it really needs to come with the right strategy to understand more than that. The strategy needs to come with the right signals
Yeah.
to really know when to catch the customer, when to really put the ad, when to do that call, call to the client, and which clients will actually have the pain to feel that this is the right solution for them.
Right. Now, a lot of people are trying to copy what the bigger companies are doing. Why doesn't that work?
Well, bigger companies have bigger budgets. And when you have bigger budgets, you can make more mistakes. You can do a lot and, you gain a pipeline, but you can explore a lot. You can make a lot of experiments. You have big teams. So when you have that ability and that privilege to make a lot of good mistakes, but it's really a lot of experiments out there, you can afford to find what suits you. And you can afford to see, let's Let's target everyone in all the car wash businesses in New Jersey. Let's do it. It works. It works. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And kind of this is how they understand what is their um, right campaign and right audience. But when you are low on budget, you're really bootstrapping, and you need to every experiment is risky, right? You need to really think about every dollar. This is when you have to be very strategic to how you're putting yourself out there. And this is the main difference between running against the incumbent, running against the bigger companies, and doing it pretty much yourself with either a really small team and a really small budget, or just doing it by yourself, bootstrapping. And you really need to understand the signals of when am I in the right place when the customer is in the right place for me to target them. So I'll give you an example. When you're doing when you're doing an ad, you need to put the right tools on for example, the landing page, to understand who came into that landing page, even if they did not convert.
Right.
And when you know who lands on that landing page, even if they did not convert, you can reach out to them, right? Now you know what is the person that this kind of this made a tick for them, right? This made kind of the pain. They saw this text and they said, oh, this resonates with me, even if they did not convert, because, it wasn't that appealing. It wasn't exactly, they were kind of afraid, but you know exactly who to reach out to. If you're sending out emails, you need to know who opened the emails. You need to check, for example, who has complementary products that if they had that product, having you as an associated product would make the whole loop perfect, right? So then you're looking only for people that have the right complementary product. So these are different signals that when you know what you want to target and how
Hmm.
you want to target it, and you're really working strategically, you can really make a difference. And every dollar that you put out there makes a lot more than just, spraying and praying.
Right. That's so true. Now, what should they be doing instead?
So first off, one of the things that I'm seeing a lot is the narrative of a company, the messaging that is out there. Now, messaging is usually not being connected. People don't like to talk about brand and messaging because it's not something that brings immediate pipeline and immediate leads in. But same as posting for everyone on Facebook, if you just have a we do everything message, we just give every solution in that subject matter, it kind of hits no one. So the first thing that I usually recommend seeing is, what really are you solving? Who
Hmm.
really benefits from this product that you offer, this service that you offer, and what is the exact pain that you are solving there? And just on that right pain, we will start saying, okay, let's do this as a message. Let's just target this audience, this, group of people that really feel that pain. And I see immediate difference in that. It's much more of a niche audience, right? It's a smaller group of people, but the difference is enormous. And when they convert, you can immediately see a result. So the first thing that I would do is the narrative itself. And the second thing is to put the tools in place to recognize the signals. So right now, many people don't like to work with a lot of tools, but our benefit today with AI, right? We're in a different world than we were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And people are kind of lagging to adopt it, but there's no choice. If you're playing in a business game, competitors are already there, and you do need to be more competitive and adopt more tools. So
Yeah.
putting the tools in place to really be able to understand the benefits, putting the right tools on your landing pages to understand, as I said, who landed, actual people like Bob from that and that company. You can actually today see the person that clicked and be able to get their email, get the number, and give them a call. You
Right.
know who now purchased the product that is a complementary to your product. You know today to understand who asked on a forum, on social, about a solution for their problem.
Right.
The exact person that asked about it, knowing competitors that are getting connected to a potential customer that you have.
Mhm.
people that engaged with content of your competitor. So there are so many there are abundance of tools out there that can really benefit a business just if you put these tools and the aspect of the kind of the playing ground today
Mhm.
is kind of democratized for everyone. What used to cost $200,000 a year for big companies to
Yeah.
get these tools for their teams, now you get for $99,
Yeah.
$150 a month. It's something that makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
But I feel that a lot of businesses are afraid, kind of feel that okay, I can pay that amount, but I don't have any idea how to connect between the systems. I don't know how to understand what's needed. It's
Mhm.
very, it's very it's kind of scary to adopt these tools if you don't know exactly how to operate them.
Yeah.
But the benefit today is the fact that every business can actually work like the big players.
Right. It's so true. Now, if you're listening and you feel like you're doing everything, but still nothing, you're not getting results, you may want make sure that you follow this podcast because we break down what actually works. Now, a lot of people are like posting everywhere, they're trying everything, and they're burning out. Like, where should people actually be focusing on?
In terms of, that's a good question. There are so many platforms, right? And you do need to understand, where are my customers? Where are they? I remember there was one business that is an accounting software, very, very high value, $50,000, $100,000 a year for businesses. And they decided to post on not on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And people told them Facebook is for, Facebook, TikTok, it's not for businesses.
Right.
Accountants are not, and CFOs are not on Facebook, but it was so lucrative because you are basically targeting people, right? You're targeting people that are in groups. You're targeting people that are adults.
Right.
They're not, they're everywhere. They're sitting at home and they scroll also like a regular person. So you really need to understand what are the channels and the platforms that are your target audience, your ICP, your ideal customer profile. And that is starts first of all with understanding your customer. So sitting there and just sitting and telling us, okay, this is our customer, putting all of their details and all of their persona there, and then starting to think, okay, they are this age, they're from that place, where did they hang out?
Yeah.
What is their pain? What do they love? And there are actually platforms out there. Besides of course, you can use Claude and ChatGPT today to put all the details there, and for ChatGPT to tell you where are they hanging out, what do
Right.
they read, what is their channel.
Mhm.
But more than that, it's their platforms like SparkTuro, for example.
Yeah.
I can give you the names after SparkTuro, for example, that
Yeah.
you put the person and the persona, and they give you all of the channels that the people are reading. It's pretty incredible. And then you can say, okay, you can actually see channels that you can do guest posting for,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
If this is a very niche magazine, because it's a very niche industry, so you can write a guest post. You can see what groups they hang out on LinkedIn or on Facebook and start posting there. So one of the things is to be strategic about it. Another thing is using your own channels. So if you have a website, then you can blog on your website. This is something that many companies are missing. You
Yeah.
can write about that. You can write about with the right keywords, with the right questions. Today we have that search engine optimization. We have also AEO, that is AI engine optimization. So
Yeah.
when people are looking for the solution like yours, your blog will be out there and your guest post in the right channels would be out there.
Right.
So if you're already preparing content and already posting, I would definitely recommend to be strategic about it, like we talked about the campaigns, and
Yeah.
thinking about where are the right places to be. one of the surprising channels that came up in the last that I write a lot about, and it's proving itself every time, is Reddit. And a
Mhm.
lot of people are not getting any close to it. It's like a black hole for a lot of people. Like, we don't get into Reddit, but it gets ranked in Google. It gets ranked in AI channels. And the only thing that you need to do is start commenting on questions that people present that are pain that they have in your subject matter.
Right.
So simple, and yet, not many people do it. Many people miss out on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so many things to do today. So there's no glass ceiling there in terms of how much you can grow. It's just about being strategic about that.
Right. That's really great advice. Now, what should they stop doing immediately?
Interesting. What they should stop doing immediately is that, first off, is this just spraying ads out there without strategy. I would definitely stop that. If you are spending money now and not really getting results, but keep on doing that without looking at reports, without measuring it the right way, I would not continue. I would definitely stop and look at really what can I do less and gain more out there. Stop really putting that narrative, that messaging that I do everything
Mhm.
and messaging to everyone, actually starting to narrow, as we talk about, like, narrow down the approach and trying to find the right people with the right message. Some of the companies that I worked with, we did sub websites, so mini websites for different solutions for different pages, just because we want to really, really target that narrow audience, and
Yeah.
that really proves itself many times.
It really does. It definitely does. Now, you mentioned something really interesting. You showing up at the right time for the right people. And why is timing more important than doing
Yeah. So think about yourself. If you are now, your shoes just broke and you look at them and you're saying, I need new shoes. Like, this is the time that you're saying, or they're starting to break, right? You're
Yeah.
saying, I need new shoes. This is the right time when you start searching for it. This is the right signals to start showing you ads for shoes
Right.
or actually messaging, right? So I have to say that some companies have assessed the time from the purchase to
Mhm.
when this product will be start being to breaks and starting to be obsolete. And then that time is the minute that they will start doing retargeting, start doing ads for them to buy the new product.
Yeah.
So exactly the same works for businesses.
Mhm.
You want to catch a person at the time that they have the need. Any other time when somebody does not feel the pain,
Mhm.
they will not purchase,
Right.
right? It's not painful enough for them to spend the money.
Mhm.
Everyone in any company would spend when they actually feel that this is the time that they have to buy.
Right.
And if anything else is just nice to have, right?
Yeah.
They're spending money. If you're managing to do that when it's the nice to have time,
Right.
that's great. You're a great salesperson.
Mhm.
But in most situation, it's when they actually have the need for that. So if they purchase something new, if they visited a specific website, if they're looking at a specific video
Yeah.
on a website, wait, why are they looking at that specific video? It means that they want to purchase, they have that pain.
Right.
So using all of these little tags, the little pain points trying to identify the right time for them to purchase. And then when you're calling them or when you're giving them the right ad with the right messaging, you're saying, oh, yes. And
Mhm.
then they click, I need that, I need
Yeah.
these shoes. And then they click. It's basic, right? It's the same for B2C, for businesses to consumers and businesses to businesses.
Right.
That's the human nature
Yes.
of, I need to fix this now.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. Now, how do people know when to actually act?
The business, me as a business,
Yeah.
or yeah. So again, the thing is about identifying the pain. When are people? I put the tools in place, and I have the research tools in place
Right.
to identify when people are starting to look for ways to feel that pain point, right? To fix that pain point. So things like engaging with competitive ads or posts, right?
Right.
If I have a competitor and they do a lot of ads, right? It's a big competitor. They do a lot of ads, they do a lot of connections, they have a huge sales team. And now I see from my tools that that my ICP, my target audience is starting to engage with them. So for me, that's a channel, that's a signal to start reaching out to them. Even if I did not put this huge campaign out there,
Yeah.
I know now that I need to reach out to them. This is the right time. If I see that I have tools to know that people are starting to engage with specific websites
Hmm.
or with searching on review sites for specific products.
Yes.
If I know that they're looking for that, this is for me a signal that I can reach out to them. So all of these tools that are available today to everyone, they're cheap, they're available, they're out there. To use for me, these are signals for us to reach out. When you're reaching out to them now, it's not like every one of them are are there, right? Exactly to purchase from you. Your conversion rate is not going to rise to 70%, obviously, but
Right.
definitely a lot higher than if you just put a lot of spend out there just for everyone.
I think that's great advice. That is definitely needed, because a lot of times people put unnecessary spending into it, and you could spend a lot less and get a lot better results. And that's so many times that's true, and people just throw in the money, and it turns out to be a loss. And if they did it just a little bit differently and a little bit
Hmm.
more conservatively, they could actually had better results and actually saved more instead of spending all that money and then not getting the results that they wished for.
Exactly, exactly. Absolutely. If I put the tools in place to know who's looking for what, if I resonate with the right message at the right time, relevant for that specific pain that I was trying to fix,
Yeah,
the probability that a potential customer will be, happy to engage with me and to listen, to hear more
yeah.
is much higher. Absolutely.
Now let's talk about this. If someone doesn't have a big budget, how can they still compete and win?
So first off, not a big budget, but I would put those tools in place that are not, they're a fraction of a campaign. I would put these tools in place. Second of all, I would start going organic a lot. A lot of companies are missing on organic, using their blog, doing some guest posting, participating in some webinars,
Yeah,
doing some content out there that, it's digital, you can write. So engaging in groups. So not necessarily just putting immediately everything on paid ads,
yeah,
but starting to put their organic tools out there. And that also bring, SEO, that brings the AI visibility. The second is doing very, very, very targeted ads. So if I'm putting myself and if I want to do ads on specific groups, one of the things that I really love is competitive ads. So showing Google on Google results when people are looking for my competitors by
yeah.
name
Hmm.
and then showing up first.
Right.
Amazing tool with the right message. It wins every time. I'm looking for the right keywords and putting ads in very, very strategically in the right videos, but just it doesn't take you don't have to do it in mass. You just have to do it on the right time, right? So you're spending so much less. So these are the tools that I would put. So organic, of course, publishing by myself, putting the tools there to understand the signals, and then doing very, very targeted ads and retargeted ads. So
Yeah,
as we spoke before, it's people that I put an ad out there. They visited my website. They did not convert, but now I know there's a signal there and I start reaching out to them. So doing that outbound motion based on their inbound signal is
yeah.
super important. These are the things that I would do to get higher pipeline than just spraying it out there. Out there, I think we want to. People think that if I get more leads,
Right.
it will I will get more sales.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true, especially if you're looking at higher value products, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
If we are looking at sales and doing actually a sales process, you want to hit the right time with that person.
100%. Now, a lot of people feel invisible. Like, how do you know how to build your authority when no one knows who you are yet?
Yeah, so that's a problem with a lot of people, right? Feel invisible. People work for years and years to get visibility. And the first thing is to understand what you have
Hmm.
as an asset,
Right.
right? What you know as an asset, and then doubling down on that. I think that a lot of folks are trying to write about and talk about things that are more general, or just not talk about things at all because they're
Right.
so scared of putting themselves out there. But founder knowledge is so powerful.
Yeah.
If a founder of a company, if you as a business with your knowledge puts yourself out there and starts to talk and starts to write, even somebody that writes for you,
Yeah.
you'll be so surprised of the level of engagement that you start to get, right?
Right.
Of people that start searching for you. So first of all is to really, even if you're visible, to really start doubling down on what you know best,
Yes.
right? In the right places that we talked about, right? Understanding where my audience is, but really starting to just write about it.
Yeah.
Getting the placement in the right place. So if there is a podcast that is looking for people like me, even if it's a a podcast, go talk about it. One of the great things that we love as marketeers is evergreen content, we call it. So I'm sitting in a podcast, I'm talking about my specialty, my subject matter. I can use that content in so many ways,
Right.
in ads and infographics, to put on different websites, to promote myself in different places. So that ability to just be out there is something that is just not it's not just for now. It's a compounding effect that you benefit from. So even if things are niche, even if things are now look tiny to you because
Yeah.
they're not visible,
Right.
it all has value.
Yes.
And I was working with a lot of founders that are really that I'm not going to write about. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to write on LinkedIn. I don't have time for that. Not on Facebook. Great. So we'll write for you. Let's sit half an hour every 2 weeks, and we'll just intake everything that you know and all the things, how you help people. We'll do the intake of that. And now we will publish that for you in your name with your profile. And that starts to compound, and that starts a lot of growth benefit. So there are so many ways to get out of that invisibility. And when you do ads, do thought leadership ads.
Yeah.
So some people are just, putting very basic ads out there. But we know that when a founder actually talks on these ads, or there's a quote on this ad, it works better. Right? If they speak you go to the landing page, when they actually speak there, it
Hmm.
works a lot better. So
Yes.
there's a lot of value to putting your founder, and putting the people that actually understand the subject,
Yes.
front and personal, in the kind of front window of the how do you call it? The window in the store
Yeah.
on the street,
The show window.
the show window. If you put the founder there, it's very, very powerful
Yeah.
for a business.
That's very true. Definitely, 100%. People get influenced by that stuff. People get
Right.
intrigued, their eyes bulge out. They're like, "Wow,"
Yeah. And Stacey, you're a founder, right? And you're out there and you're putting yourself out there, and you're representing the business,
Right. Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. Now, this is something people don't talk about enough. How does mindset affect growth?
Well, it really relates to the aspect of putting yourself behind because you're so used to grinding in the business and doing the actual work.
Yeah.
And, I have a marketing team that does everything for me, but mindset is about, first of all, everything has value. You have value as a founder. Put
Yeah.
yourself out there. And also, one of the things that I'm seeing is there's a concept that is called first principles.
Mhm.
So, in that concept, we say things that even when things did not work out before,
Right.
there are so many reasons for them to not work out back then. We didn't have the right audience. The product was completely different. We didn't have the knowledge that we have right now. The market was different. If something did not work out 3 years ago,
Mhm.
you cannot, cancel it just because of that.
Right.
You need to think about, what am I trying to do? Who am I trying to get to? What is my goal here? And I'll break it down completely without that mindset of things don't work. I tried it before. And it
Right.
changes a lot of the impact that you can have. And things actually are, things are moving forward. Things are changing all the time. If you went to that
Full
show
speed. Yeah.
5 years ago, now this show could be completely different.
Yeah.
If people tell you it's completely different, wait, maybe just listen,
Mhm.
try to see where they're coming from. What's the idea there? Maybe it's a different industry. Things are
Yeah.
um, uh, people are impacted from different things. So I would definitely, mindset is something that closes us, gives us a very, very narrow ability to grow because we're
Yeah.
kind of canceling things on the spot,
Mhm.
but actually like stripping it down. And I think that's the benefit of kind of a marketing person that comes to you that is strong enough to say, "Great, you've been there, wonderful. Now let's see why it didn't work back then, and
Yeah.
let's just strip this off and try to work this again. Let's
Exactly.
see what really is the problem, and how this method that did not work before can actually work here, and how can we do this experiment that is not so risky but it will give us the value." So this is definitely a mindset that I believe, I can see the reason why it affects a lot of founders. It's
Yeah.
your money, it's risky, but it really needs to change if you want to grow. The other thing is having the ability to fail a little bit.
Yeah.
You can fail a little bit, and some failures are not as risky as others.
Right.
And doing experiments and understanding that marketing is there are some things in marketing that are very, you put an ad, you can see the value immediately. But
Right.
some things require a little bit more experimentation to
Mhm.
understand where people are, what are the signals, what message do resonate. Experimentation is something that is really important, and really changing to that mindset of, okay, I'm willing to give my blessing to try more things. It really relates, of course, to the first principles is necessary.
I love that. Now, how do you avoid, like, second guessing yourself? Because, so many people do that.
Huh. That is something that is so many people do that everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Not just in business,
Right.
anywhere.
Exactly.
In business, from founders, in us as marketeers, CFOs, product people, everyone second guesses themselves. But I think the important thing is, for me specifically and everyone that I work with, it's about understanding what you do best and looking at your proof, things that you know how to do.
Yeah.
This is something we know, this can actually bring value.
Yes.
We know this is actually something that people can benefit from.
Mhm.
There can be so many things in yourself that you will say, I need to quit. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
This is not, let's just stay with the comfort zone. But if you really look at the proof of things that you did and actually succeeded and look for the experience part, that is a way for you to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
We always question ourselves, right? I don't think anyone is free of that at all times.
Yeah.
But we really have to put that aside. It's never beneficial. So yeah, and I really love to break things down.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that usually for me it helps, to
Yeah.
sit and say, yeah, you look at it as a mountain and it's very, very difficult, to conquer this whole thing. But let's really break down what we're trying to do and put it into small steps
Yeah.
and see how we can do that now. Just to, start a little bit, and especially when you start working with a small business with something that you're just doing for the first time with them, they're not used to it. Just breaking it down. Okay, let's do that thing.
Yeah.
And although you yourself are afraid to take that responsibility, but you have that experience, that this is something that can
Right.
work.
That's so true. That's so true. Now, if someone feels like they're the small player right now, what's the one shift that they can make today?
So one shift is talk to somebody that knows the business, right? Know where the business is going. Really look for the right tools. Start really, I definitely recommend people that are not working with AI or are not kind of hiding behind the good old regular, basic tools, is to look for start exploring, start asking, what are the right tools that can give me that? Am I really targeting the right people?
Yes.
And starting to work with, you know, people that knows they're not they're not telling you what to do. They're advising you on what to do. They're actually showing you what's new in the market and
Right.
what your competitor is doing right now, most probably,
Right.
especially if you're in a big pond with a lot of fish. People are always advancing. So
Yes.
starting to think about how you can put yourself up front, how you can differentiate yourself in the tools that you have and not keep, don't keep going with the same, old tools that you used to that are okay, but it's nice, but it's not really bringing you the value.
Mhm.
Just start exploring.
Right.
I think start reading, start exploring, start connecting with people, and getting the idea of people. How can I, asking how can I put myself more out there? How can I get the right tools to put myself out there? It's something that you have to do now, and it will be a process, right? It's not. Some of the tools are actually showing, many of them showing immediate results,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
just saying to yourself, okay, these are the tools that I can put there to understand the signals and to see, okay, I'll put one tool in place
Yeah.
and I will see how that works. And then I'll continue from there. Just, dive in, explore and dive in and try.
Right.
We're not talking about big investments with the tools that we have right now.
That's great advice. Now tell us a little about your services and what you provide.
So I myself today I'm a fractional CMO and also advisor, and I work with marketing teams and businesses on getting their pipeline together, building their demand generation. I usually work with smaller businesses, but with very big. I specifically work with enterprise audiences, so that is a very long sales cycle
Yeah.
and a very complex audience to reach. So I work with mostly startups and businesses that are looking to get to them and building the right infrastructure in place, the right strategy, and kind of understanding how to go from where they are into something that will give them kind of a predictable machine, right?
Yeah.
It's not a machine, but it's a predictable machine of
Right.
we can start working with put something in place that will continuously bring these signals, continuously bring us the value that we need to grow the business.
Right. I love that. I love that. Now where can people find you?
So they can find me on LinkedIn. I write on LinkedIn and I'm connected to LinkedIn regularly. I'll give you my website, and there's also a link there to set a meeting. But basically on LinkedIn, I'm there. And I think that's the best platform for connecting with other businesses,
Yes.
for learning about new tools, new technologies, people that are know things that you don't. The world is so big right now
Yeah.
for advancing so fast,
Yes.
but you can connect to anyone.
Yeah.
You can connect to anyone there. It's incredible. So I'm on LinkedIn, so anyone can reach out to me.
I love it. I love it. And for the listeners out there, you don't need more noise. You need the right strategy. And if this episode helped you, make sure you follow and share it with someone who needs it. Osnat, this has been amazing. I thank you for being here. And I loved having you here. I think it's so important that people really understand certain aspects of marketing, how we don't have to put so much money into a lot of things, that a lot of things could be done organically, and that we just sometimes have to look at things from a different angle. And, if we start doing things, and tweaking it, because I see sometimes people get overwhelmed too. So if we just little bit, step by step, follow a lot of the strategies and tools you mentioned today, I think people could really start to see massive changes for startups and small businesses, especially because a lot of them don't have the funds to pour in like those big companies like we were talking about. So I think the tools you gave today were outstanding. And I so much appreciate you for being on the show today. And I hope you'll be back and we can talk more in depth about a lot of the topics that we touched base on today. But Osnet, thank you so much. And I just appreciate you and appreciate you for taking the time to come on the show and share your knowledge with us.
Thank you very much. It was lovely. It was wonderful talk. Thank you so much for letting me share
You're
my
very
knowledge.
welcome. You have a great day.
Thank you.